Hey guys, and welcome here to another mod spotlight. I'm Exterminator, and thank you for joining me. Today we are going to go over the Mining Tools Resource Generation Mod, and this adds quite a bit, but it's not as complicated as it might seem at first. So we'll get right into it here. It actually adds a whole new tab, which is quite nice, and then it does add some research, which we will go over first. So we have Advanced Mining 1, 2, and 3. The first one here, which is just 1550, unlocks the high pressure water injector, some drills, a new miner, some explosives. These unlock higher levels of explosives, these unlock higher levels, and these unlock even higher levels. Okay, so that may not make a lot of sense what those are, but we're going to go over that now. So it does have the research to go along with it, the most expensive being 200 red and green. And yeah, so we'll start in here. Well, most basic is this adds two new tools. You have a pneumatic drill, which has a durability that would last you probably the whole game. This has a 5,000 durability, your steel axe. This has a I think a 250,000 durability. A mining power of 20 and 15 physical damage, opposed to the mining power of 4 and 8 physical damage. And then this one is double that, 500,000 durability, 40 mining power, and 30 physical. The first one here requires iron plate, steel, iron stick, and engine unit, which is, well, not that expensive for what you're getting. This is iron, steel, iron stick, battery, and electric engine, so on and so forth. So these are pretty nice. These are the most basic things it adds. The next thing it adds is a fast electric mining drill, which is simply 3 times faster than this one. This has a mining power of 3 and a mining speed of 0.5. This has a mining power of 3 but a mining speed of 1.5, which is 3 times the speed of this at 0.5. And then it adds a high pressure water injector, which I'm going to show you how to use here in a minute. I know it's dark out. We can actually change that. I'm using another mod here. So then it adds some dynamite. This is for resource wiping. And essentially what this does is what it says. It will let you wipe resources off of an area. Now it can be quite slow because it only does one tile at a time. I'll demonstrate here. So you set it down. You got to wait several seconds. In a minute here. There we go. Boom. Makes it disappear. I don't know if doing multiple ones would actually all work at once. It doesn't with the other dynamite. So this stuff does. Okay, so you could just mass place this and get rid of resources. I don't know why you would really want to, but it is here. Maybe it's in conjunction with these others. So these others are dynamites for essentially bringing up resources from underground, which, you know, kind of makes sense. You know, maybe there's resources under the surface here, and these you blow up the ground to bring them up. So there's 4 different levels, each level producing a better amount of resources, and then within each level there's one for every resource. So you have your oil, your iron, your coal, your stone, and your copper. Okay, so just to demonstrate some of these oil patches, I think I did with the explosives, but we'll just start here with a normal iron discovery. Same thing, you place it down, wait just a couple seconds for it to do its thing. There we go. Generates a patch. 1 patch. Not great, you know, but 600, you know, that's really actually not that bad. Now I did try this previously with multiple things, and it didn't seem to work, all of them. But this time it seemed to. So you can do multiple ones at once. Again, these are about the same. Higher levels would simply just generate higher amounts. We can see here, this guy is going to do the same thing, but there's going to be more in here. This is 3100 opposed to the 600-ish that you get from that. And that's just pretty much that. It works the same way for all the resources. We can just look at oil here really quick. The normal level, the level 1 oil wells are pretty crappy, about as bad as you can get almost. 68%, not that great. The higher ones are really, really good though. Potentially overpowered, I'm not... it's in multiple hundreds, 600. This one's one I did too. So about 650-ish it looks like is what the higher ones do. And obviously I just showed you all that. Works the same for coal and copper and stone. So the cost for these, really quick, the level 1s are pretty much the level 1s require coal and explosives. Or sorry, for coal that's what they require. So like this one is 1 explosive and 10 coal. This one for coal is 4 explosives and 40 coal. So they require the resource that they bring up, which makes sense. For these higher level ones, it's 4 explosives and 40 copper, which is actually really cheap when you consider that that you would get like 3,000, a patch worth of 3,000. A little overpowered, I would say. And then oil is 16 explosives and 160 sulfur, which is a little more expensive, but still, you get an oil well that's like 650% yield. So, pretty good. Alright, so I have this power set up here because we're going to move on to the high pressure water injector. This does essentially-ish the same thing. This will, according to the description here, if you want to explore further depths and expel huge amounts of resources, you can use a high pressure water injector. So essentially it's like fracking. It shoots water. There's a whole description here about, like technically how it would work and stuff. You shoot water and chemicals down into the ground to bring the resources up. So it's kind of like what fracking is. But anyway, so you put sulfur in here and it requires water, which we have coming in. Now, of an important note is the mod developer here on the post says that you should be hand inserting the sulfur because for some reason it won't let you insert it with an inserter, which is kind of annoying, but it's not like you have to do it constantly because this does take a while. Each process takes 2 seconds and requires 1 sulfur, and you need 100 of these for phase 1. So essentially you would need 200 sulfur, which I didn't quite do. Once it does phase 1, it's going to move on to phase 2, and we're actually going to go nighttime-ish or not. Well, once it hits phase 2, there you go. So at nighttime, this would be kind of like a light show, and yeah, so this is what happens. It'll take a while. It's kind of sparse. Eventually, these will be entire patches, and you'll be rich. So, this is pretty much what happens. And it's going to do this until these patches are full. So one thing to note is the patches will not be as, I would say, organized as vanilla ones, obviously. This is kind of just generating stuff like all over the place in between each other. So I guess that would be the main disadvantage, is that you have to, when you mine them, you have to sort them out. But considering what you get for this, I would say that's worth it. It's a lot of resources. I mean, in terms of richness per thing, it's about normal, but we just generated this whole thing minus this coal patch that was already here. And these oil patches obviously were already here. But so there you go. You pretty much get resources from nothing. You do need water, and the dev, which they say, which is a good point, if you're not near water, you should use maybe like a mod that adds a water pump that you can just get water from the ground. I think there's several of them, or if you're using BOS mods, you can do that. Now this does come at a cost. This thing is not that expensive to make. However, the power is ridiculous. It requires 20 megawatts by itself always. Well, not the drain, but whenever it's working in phase 1 there, it requires 20 megawatts. That's why I had to set up this whole power system. So the entire time this is running, it will take 20 megawatts. You do have to be aware of that, because otherwise it could shut down your whole power system. So, I mean, maybe it's a little overpowered. I don't know. It only takes, I mean, about 200 seconds for phase 1, and then it starts doing this. And if you have the power for it, and really it only takes 100 sulfur too, which isn't that much, so maybe a little overpowered. I mean, it's up to you. That's not my job in these spotlights to tell you to use it or not. Usually I'll suggest them and say if I recommend them, but it's your judgment. If you think this is too overpowered, if you do, then don't use it. But this can be a nice way to get some resources, or if you want a a smaller method, then use the dynamite here that will bring them up from the surface. So there you go, guys. There's the mod. Hope you enjoyed. I believe I did cover everything here, and the mining drill is just kind of to go with this, or I mean, you can obviously use it with any resources, and it will just mine 3 times faster. So that's kind of a nice addition as well. And there you go. So as always, thank you for watching. Hope this was helpful. If you're interested, check it out. Link down in the description. I'm actually going to put 2 links. One will be to the mod portal where you should be downloading it from probably. And the other will be to the forums, because the really long descriptions with the pictures and stuff are on the forums. So I'll link to both of those so you can check them out. And if you have any questions, suggestions, anything like that, leave them down in the comments. But until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.